makes most women start a business? Is it passion, money, or freedom? Welcome to Female Founders, the podcast that takes you behind the scene with women who are founders and CEOs to help you start and scale a successful business of your own. I am your host, Nagelia de Ravin. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Female Founders. Today I am excited to have a conversation with Jennifer Barnes, founder and CEO of Optima Office. With more than 25 years of experience in accounting and finance, Jennifer has built a thriving business that provides outsourced accounting, fractional CFO and COO services, and human resources support to over 300 companies across the United States. Good morning, Jennifer. I'm looking forward to having this conversation with you and to learn more about Optima Office and all the great work you are doing to support other businesses. So what inspired you to proceed to a career in accounting and finance, and how did you get started in the field?
Well, nice to meet you as well, and thank you for having me. How do you pronounce your name again?
Nagelia.
Nagelia. Okay, got it. Well, I started college as an economics major and then decided to switch to finance. Ended up finishing finance in 3 years, so stayed in school and got a marketing degree. And I stayed, did the 4 years and did a marketing and finance. And didn't really think I was ever going to get into accounting, so to speak, but the world just takes you as it does. And so I went with it. I ended up getting hired as a staff accountant out of college at Petco Corporation. So I worked in the corporate environment, the 8 to 5, the 9 to 6 type of job, and did that for a while, and just got good at accounting. I don't know. I've always liked numbers.
Wow. I try to run away from numbers and you become best friend with numbers.
My husband as well. He hates math in general.
I'm with him on that. So now, what guides you into entrepreneurship itself?
I never really planned on being a business owner. It was not something that I set out to do and created a business plan. I was working as a consultant, as a controller consultant back in, early 2007, 2008. And the company that I was working for, they were doing things a certain way that I didn't agree with. And I just beat by my own drum and I did things my way, which the CEO obviously didn't appreciate. And so he fired me. And wow. I was fortunately given the opportunity to take clients with me if the company themselves were able to call the clients. So they called 15 of my clients at the time. I had serviced, I think, over 20 companies that I was their controller. And so all kind of fractional, interim, part-time type of work, sometimes projects, sometimes long-term. And anyway, 12 of the 15 came with me. And then what nobody really expected was that several employees came with me. So I had no company startup. Just people believed in me. And so they came to work with me out of my living room. And we started servicing those 12 clients and then went out and got more because I was really good at servicing 20 plus. 12 was easy. So yes. I let the staff do a lot of the work and I found more clients, ended up, growing it into a pretty decent sized organization over a 6-year period. But I had partners at that company. And so I don't know if you want me to go into any information on that, but I would say that partnerships are tough. And you have to always be very careful with who you partner with. Make sure you're aligned. At least you share the same values, goals, have similar expectations, right? People go into partnerships sometimes just very, very optimistic and excited that somebody even just wants to do business with them and work with them. But you have to treat it more like a marriage.
You're right. It is kind of a marriage.
It is. So anyway, the marriage failed. And I had a 50% partner right from the get-go. He had already found, he had founded the organization itself, but it was for something completely Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Kind of, it's dusty in here. It's been raining here in San Diego for a few days, off and on for about a week or two. Lots of snow on the West Coast right now. I think it's hitting the East Coast too, right?
Yes.
Okay. You're in Riverside, or no?
No, I'm in Las Vegas right now.
Oh, Las Vegas. Okay. Sounds good. So back to partnerships. I ended up being 50-50 partners with this guy. He had started the company, but it was more to be for professional athletes and high wealth individuals doing their back office accounting. But my business, what I had focused on is the outsourced accounting piece and fractional CFO and whatnot. So he didn't have any clients. He didn't have a really game plan. And so he just went 50-50 with me. And it made it easy because it was 6 weeks before my wedding. And I was about to go on a honeymoon. And so the fact that he could step in, help run the clients, the staff, and run everything made a lot of sense as well. But anyway, 3 years in, he's basically doing nothing, hardly at all. I was running the entire company, bringing in all the business. We had maybe 40 people at the time, about $3 million company revenue, annual revenue of $3 million. And I said, I need you to step up and start running this company with me. Otherwise, this doesn't make sense. So he ended up being the COO of the organization in 2016. And in that same time frame, we brought on another guy to be our CFO and to bring in some clients and some staff with him as well, and gave him 10%. So at that point in time, I had gone from being I was 50%, then 45. So then I lost my control. And I think that was the big pivotal point where the two guys could always gang up on me and outvote me.
Yes.
Anyway, long story short, in 2017, they kicked me out as the CEO, even though I brought in, 15, 17 million of the 20 plus million we had done. I was kind of the rainmaker of the company. And anyway, so that didn't go very well. 2018, we're just still fighting and it's not working out. So they decided to set me up essentially and had a security guard walk me out, took out all my access to everything. And basically walked me out with security, took away my company car and all my access. And I was left with nothing. I ended up walking home that day. And as I was walking home, they shut off my cell phone. They had access to the T-Mobile account that I had started. And so I'm talking to my husband on the phone, and all of a sudden my cell phone goes doo-doo-doo, no more service. Anyways, I get home. It's only a mile walk, so it's not like it was super dramatic having to walk home from LA or anything. But I get home, and I had the neighbor kid who had just gotten his license drive me over to the T-Mobile store at UTC Mall. I was able to get my cell phone back, get my access back, just in the nick of time before that number just got eliminated. And then we just fought from there for a year and a half in litigation. I started a company 3 days later, Optima, which is now my current organization. We've got about 100 employees, and I built it to twice the size in half the time by myself with no guys. And ended up winning about, I think, April of 2020, we finally settled, and I'd call it a big win on my part. They bought out my 45% interest, and I was able to use that to even grow and invest further in Optima. And we should do at least 12 million in revenue this year.
Wow.
That's my
I can't believe they did that to you.
I know.
This is so cool. Like, that's like heartless. How do you do that to someone after they take you in with nothing? You literally did nothing, and then you just took it over. That is so bad. I hope I'm not the type of person to say something bad about someone, but I do hope someone do the exact same thing to them so they can feel how it feels.
Well, I believe in just be a good person, do the right thing.
Okay.
I don't want to call it karma, or just be a good person. Take care of others. So that's a focus of mine. Is we've moved on. I don't look back at all. I can't even imagine being in a partnership with those guys anymore. And some of the people over there were just I'd inherited over the years, and So it was a blessing in disguise, and I'm actually quite thankful that it happened, even as hard as it was and as painful it was to fight them and to spend all that money on attorney's fees and
Yes.
having to start over again. One thing I remember thinking when I started the company over again 4.5 years ago was, God, it's going to take me a whole 4 years of revenue to get back into the fastest growing businesses like the Inc. 5000 and all that stuff again. I'm like, darn it, I have 4 years. It's such a long time. But here we are 4.5 years later, and we just it can be announced today. Oh my gosh, really good timing. The 28th, I'm allowed to announce it. We just got number 143 on the Inc. fastest growing businesses, West Coast, I think the regional one.
What?
We got 143. So I'm curious to see what we'll get in the Inc. 5000. We definitely placed, I'm sure. But yeah, it's exciting.
Yes. But from the previous company, were you able to grab some of these clients with you to the new one, or you start completely 100% from scratch?
Oh, well, great point. Good question. No, I had about 30 employees came with me, and about 50, 60 clients came with me. But we had almost 300 at the time, so it was certainly not as many as I would have liked. We have over 300 here at Optima right now, and we have more employees that I had at the previous company. So I consider us much bigger, better, faster, stronger, nicer, kinder, more flexible, more personalized. Yeah.
Just better.
Just better.
So now let's talk a little bit more about Optima Office. What are these? Can you tell us more about the company and the services that it offers itself?
Sure, of course. We provide everything from a fractional CFO, like a high-level finance or accounting, male or female, that basically does all the analytics and high-level forecasting, advisory strategy, looking at a business and helping them with their business plan, their strategic planning, their forward-thinking, how to run their numbers successfully, how to do acquisitions, how to do anything like that. And then we have controllers, which are the head of accounting and finance, preparing the financials and getting everything dialed in. And then we do accounting managers, we do bookkeepers, staff accountant level resources that are really for the data entry, putting everything into the general ledger, whether it's QuickBooks or NetSuite or Intact or another Sage platform, we work in pretty much any software, do all the bookkeeping to the high level work. And then we do human resources as well. The high-level directors and HR managers, HR generalists, from handbooks to risk and compliance to hiring to onboarding, offboarding, best practices, how to be a best-in-class company, especially with your benefits and your recruiting and your HR team. And then lastly, we do operations, very high-level strategic operations. So almost like a lean, how do you become as process efficient as possible? We want to make sure that, looking at your organizational chart, are the people doing the right thing? Is everybody working hand in hand together? And, what can we do to make this a better organization? So we kind of come in and sit on the left or the right of the CEO. Yeah.
And handle it from there. So now, do you outsource your work, or is everything is in-house within the company itself?
Everything's in-house. We have about 100 W-2 employees here at Optima. A few stats. We are 65% female currently.
Ooh.
And we're working on getting it higher, but we're 25% minority at the organization as well. So we're trying to be diverse, flexible, just support a variety of different types of needs from different types of people, from stay-at-home moms that want to work 20 hours a week to fast-paced 40, 50, 60-hour-a-week career, up and coming in their career, or, types of people, bookkeepers that, might just want to work 25, 30 hours a week, or people that want to work a lot more. I leave all the hours up to the employee. So people can choose their hours, how much they want to work. Do they want to be full-time? Do they want to be part-time? Is it half remote? We don't usually do fully remote workers. Most of our staff do have to go on site to clients on a regular basis. But there's a few people here of the 100 that live in different states that have been with me for a while and then moved, and then we've kept them. So yeah.
But one thing that you said that I love is the 65%. That number is very high, especially that supporting other women. And that's something that's very close to my heart, supporting other women. So I love that. I'm pretty sure that's not something you do intentionally. It's something that just happened. But it's great to see that as a woman in business, you care about supporting other women as well.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I mean, we have some amazing men on the team. We have found some of the best accounting guys and CFOs that are around, and same with HR. The women are almost a different breed. They can get so many things done, so many clients at once. You give something to a busy female, especially a busy female with like kids, and then she's trying to multitask and do all these things. They'll get 40 hours worth of work done in 25. It's amazing.
Yes.
People that CPAs, MBAs, people that, used to work at CPA firms or be tax and audit, and they just don't have the appetite or the family balance to work 50, 60 hours a week anymore. And so we'll gladly take them here. Please come to Optima. Come have a career in accounting or HR. And 24 hours a week makes sense for you and your family, or 37 hours makes sense. Go for it. I could care less. Just give me your best 37 hours. Give me your, do a great job for our clients, care about them, and stay with Optima. I'm very much about reliability, retention, loyalty, kindness, take care of people. And so I would really love all of my employees that work here to stay here, for their careers, of course.
Yes.
Certainly we do have some turnover. We're probably about a little over 80% retention right now. So we have, my vision as the CEO is to have the highest retention in the industry. And so I'd like to think that we've reached that goal. I don't know of any other firm out there that has higher than 80% retention with their employees, but I'd be interested if there was one out there.
That's a big bet.
Well, and let's call it, you have to have at least 50 employees to because I think that's a different animal. When you have 12 employees and it's a close-knit family and maybe one person might leave a year, that's a different story than you got 100. We have 100 people here. So if we only lose, 15% of them a year, and you'll
still be fine.
It's a pain in the butt. I'd rather not lose people, because imagine telling 8 companies that they've lost their controller, right? Then we have to do all the training and transition and get a new person in place and get them up to speed. And if there's an industry specifics or there's software specifics, then we pick it up very quickly, but it's still burdensome to go through the transition. But fortunately, a lot of the turnover that we have is because our clients might hire the person that works for them from Optima, because we do such a darn good job, and they fall in love with the people that are working with them. And they're like, oh my God, we love this person so much. Can we hire them? And I'm like, no, I don't want you to hire them. So I've continued to increase our recruiting fee. We charge almost 40%. So if you're going to steal one of our controllers, for example, I don't want to call it steal, because obviously it's probably a happy marriage. The employee wants to go there and the client wants to hire them. We'll charge $50,000 for a controller to go over to one of our clients. A CFO, you want to take one of our CFOs at $65,000. So it's a steep fee. I'm not even kidding. 4 to 6 companies a year still pay the fee. And they take our fee.
So wait, when they pay the fee, is that like a one-time fee that they are paying? So you let that employee go?
Yeah.
And they pay that?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we just lost 2 senior accountant level people in the last 2 weeks, and $25,000 each.
So let me ask you, what about if the employee just quit without telling you that she or he will start working for that company? Just quit. Just give you 2 weeks notice, I'm quitting that job.
Well, they wouldn't go to work for our clients without telling us. We have a contract with the clients, and we also have a contract with the employees. I mean, certainly in California, it could probably be a little more lenient, but it's a contractual obligation. And in most cases, our clients pay via ACH or credit card. So, if we give them a $25,000 invoice, they've already authorized us to
charge that.
Yeah. I mean, we have such a good relationship with our clients and our employees, and we hire such ethical, good people that I can't imagine someone doing that. It hasn't ever happened, but I guess certainly it could.
But let's talk a bit about that, because when you say you're hiring good employees, because right now that's one of the issues, to find good employees, because that's something that's very hard to find. So how do you find them?
We don't have a hard time finding them. If we give them so much flexibility, or kind or caring, we just pay them. They just
fall into your arm. Here it is.
No. Well, fair enough. We do have a good recruiting team. We recruit internally, so we prepare good job ads. We go, we do LinkedIn recruiting, ZipRecruiter, Indeed. Sometimes even like random places like schools or next door neighbor, or, how do we find good people? And so we use all the avenues. Yes. We screen all the resumes, and then we kind of up the ante when it comes to assessments and testing. We give everybody an IQ test. We do a verbal and written essay. We do either an accounting or HR assessment. We have a separate operational type of assessment, but it's much different because it's very much, like show us kind of thing. But yeah, we have a pretty strict kind of assessment process. And then once somebody does well on all those assessments and has good personality and is spoken with our HR team, their final step would be meeting with one of my other executives here at Optima. So we have an executive vice president, a COO, CFO, a VP of accounting, and VP of HR. Okay. That help us run the organization. And so one of the other executives will meet with a candidate, and then on the final step.
Oh, so you get to meet with them one-on-one before you even hire them.
Oh yeah, I must meet every single human that works here, even if it's going to be in the HR department or the operational department that I don't manage. I don't run HR at all. I'm a fast-paced entrepreneur that doesn't like to follow rules. Don't put me in charge of HR, but I do, however, have an amazing HR team that I fully trust. Jillian Dimmitt is phenomenal. So I don't have to manage any HR. I don't have to manage any accounting because Dana Sarbilescu is our VP of accounting. She's also just the top best. And then, operations is ran by Taylor, who's been my right-hand guy, COO for many years. Just super smart guy, meticulous. So I don't have to manage operations or HR or accounting. Great. Then the final piece is meeting with me. And my interview is very different, I would say. I don't ask anybody any questions that they're expecting. In fact, they've probably never been asked these questions in any kind of sequence before. And it's more about getting to know them as a human. And I ask them all sorts of questions that help me define their values and who they are as people and what motivates them in general. And then I make sure that matches our culture here. So I don't usually hire out of culture. If somebody does not fit our culture, I'm not going to try to ever force them to fit our culture. And so the culture is warm, caring, friendly, collaborative, teamwork. You care about helping and connecting others, and you're really good at what you do. Yeah.
So now, do you also take the same kind of system you have within your organization to your client as well?
We hope to. That's why we hire as people of the same birds of a feather flock together. Hopefully all those birds are out there sowing great seeds that benefit others and, help our clients. We just have accurate books. We have to have good reporting, good financial accounting, systems and processes in place, make sure things are accounted for properly. And that on the risk and compliance HR side, that you don't have any holes, that you're not leaving yourself susceptible to having any major issues happen because you've kind of checked all the boxes.
So now with what you went through a few years ago and with your previous partners, now with Optima, do you also have partners or is just you?
I own 100%.
You go, girl.
Yeah, thank you. I've been asked by some senior executives on the team over the years to share equity, and I'm not willing to give any one human equity, so to speak. It's just not worth it. I would rather put long-term incentive plans in place and may even consider an ESOP at some point in time, an employee stock ownership plan, where I would immediately give away 30% of Optima to our employees. And that gets kind of staggered based on, what level they are in the organization.
Yes.
But yeah, I would do that. I don't need to own the whole entire company, and I certainly don't take all the profits. I give 50% of all of our earnings to our employees, and I have for since we started. So whenever we have profits, I share half of it. And I think that there's ways to incentivize people without having to give away equity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that also the situation, what happened to you before, also play a big part of it as well. So you have to kind of be careful to who you're giving a percentage of the company, because you don't know what will happen once that percentage been given away. Because as human, we sometimes we tend to change when we are in power, and I feel like you just have to be careful because you never know what can happen.
Right. You got it.
So now Optima motto is happy staff equal happy clients. What is your leadership philosophy, and how do you create a happy and productive workplace culture at Optima?
I try to do a lot of team building for us internally as a company. We have about 16 people on the internal side that actually work for Optima. They also have clients, but they work internally. And you just hire people that like each other and that are good, kind people. We do fun things together and just reward them with, tell them how much you appreciate them and don't micromanage them. I hire great people and leave them alone for the most part. Do your job. I don't need to follow up with you all the time.
Yes.
We're a resource. What can we do to help? Just empower people. Bring out the best in them.
Exactly. So you build that trust with them.
Yeah, correct.
So now what kind of mentoring program do you offer to your staff?
We have a formal mentorship program, and we actually have a formal career development program as well. And so we pair everybody up who's new at the organization. We pair them up with somebody who's more seasoned and usually a level or two above that person. And then we do, I think, a 6-month kind of formalized program. If when we first started it, some of our existing people want to be in it as well. And also those individuals that have been with us for a while, but they want to learn more, they want to grow in their career, they want somebody as a sounding board, then we'll pair them up with another Optima employee.
So now when let's say you get in a client, someone looking forward to work with you, how's that process works to actually start working with your organization?
Oh, we've already onboarded almost 30 clients this year, 2023. We usually onboard 10 to 14 clients every single month. And it's really simple. We literally have a Zoom call with them or meet them in person if that's possible. And I get to know their business, ask them questions. I want to understand what their needs are, where there might be some holes, what reports would they like to see, what kind of HR issues they might have. And then we either become their entire accounting and HR department and operations, or we can just be their controller and director of HR, or kind of whatever a company needs, we give them on an hourly basis.
Okay.
Everything's as needed hourly, and usually long-term, ongoing.
So can you also go in a short term where you just teach them how to do something and you that's it, you're done?
Our minimums are $1,000 a month ongoing. And so if it was, a $10,000 project, sure, we would probably take that on. But if it's like a small little quick project, that wouldn't be a fit for Optima. It can be very disruptive for our employees that want a little bit of stability. right? They want to have 5 clients that they're actively servicing. They'll take on a project for sure, especially if it's a big project and they can get it done. But you start throwing a lot of little tiny projects at people. It doesn't make sense for our model here. But we could certainly help companies with getting everything set up and organized and in maintenance mode. And then maybe we just step back and provide a high level oversight. 10 hours a month of a controller, for example, might make sense.
Yes. So now, do you work with small businesses, or we're talking about just big corporations?
Oh, we don't really work with big corporations unless they need they have like a gap to fill. Maybe they need an analyst, or maybe they need an interim controller, or they need something, kind of an interim basis, fractional CFO or executive. But usually our clients are startups to small businesses, and then our sweet spot is 20 to 40 million in revenue. I mean, sorry, 3 million to 40 million in revenue.
So now, do you provide your services within the United States only? Do you go outside the United States?
We do go outside of the United States. We have several clients that are international. But again, it's maybe 1%.
1%. Are you looking to grow that a little bit more, or you just kind of stay within the United States only?
No, I mean, maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's like 3%. So we have 3% international of 350 clients, and we have probably 60, 70% in California.
Wow. So you get to know them and meet them in person.
Oh, yeah. A lot of our companies, I would say at least 180 of our clients want us to be on site.
So your staff go and work there every single day?
No, not every single day. Maybe twice a week, maybe once a week, maybe once every other week. Maybe they go up there once a month for a meeting. If it's a staff account and it's maybe close by their house or it's not too far out of the way, then they'll go there 4 days a week, 3 days a week. Maybe they're half days, maybe they're full days. I mean, we're part-time. So no company would really want to hire any of our team members for more than about 30 hours a week consistently on an ongoing basis. Otherwise, it doesn't become cost effective. Now, sometimes people do it because it's maybe a temporary thing and they're just like, yeah, I need somebody for 40 hours for a while. I'm filling maternity leave or a disability leave, or someone's out of town, traveling, whatever. We might do a 40-hour-a-week type of assignment like that. But generally speaking, we're part-time.
So what about if someone, for example, let's say tax season coming up right now? So a lot of people, perhaps they were not ready for that. Maybe they didn't have an accounting staff, or they didn't have anyone doing their QuickBooks. Is that something where you will come in and in full time just to get them ready to file the taxes for that year?
We do a lot of tax prep type of work. We work really well with CPA firms. And so, yeah, we'll get everything prepared and ready for a company to file. And usually if they've gotten themselves into that far behind, they probably need us ongoing. Right? I mean, you don't just fall that far behind and then play catch up every single year. That's pretty bad business practice. So if somebody is in that position, we'd probably encourage them to have ongoing support. It might make sense for them to have a full-time staff accountant or a full-time accounting manager level person. And then we provide the high-level oversight, controller, CFO, those types of things.
So now you are a busy woman and you have a lot of staff to manage, and I know you're not doing it alone. But how do you stay motivated and continue to grow and evolve as a business leader?
I'm just motivated by life in general. I'm a happy person. I like to work hard, have fun, live life. I like to travel, have a great group of friends. I have a 6-month-old baby. Ooh. And so he's just a doll and loving being his mom. I don't know. Life's just good. I'm just a happy person.
With everything that you went through for the past few years, you are a very happy person.
I'm very resilient. I make it happen. I've got moxie. Don't put up with people's crap.
So now, how can someone get in contact with you if they want to start working with Optima?
They can go to our website. It has some amazing information. It's got a contact form there. They can also email Jennifer at optimaoffice.com. If you want to call our office and speak to somebody, we do have some amazing employees out at the front that answer the phone and will talk to you. Our office line is 283 1234.
And what are your future plans and goals for Optima Office, and how do you see the industry evolving in the coming years?
I believe that more and more companies are going to need outsourced accounting and fractional leadership because, frankly, hiring full-time people at those levels can be very expensive. And people make the mistake of hiring one person and they expect them to do the bookkeeping and the controller and the leadership type of role in accounting. That's not usually going to make much sense. And that's, I think more and more people are realizing that and reaching out to firms like mine. And so I think it's going to continue to evolve. It's going to continue to have more competitors in the space. I would like to double Optima over the next 5 years. That's a goal to get us to 20 million revenue. We did just under 10 last year. And if we can go from 20 to 40 at some point in time, that would just be icing on the cake. I'd like to get us to 13 million so I can join YPO, the Young Presidents Organization. I want to be in that group. I think it's an amazing group of people. And yeah, that's about it.
I think that I have no doubts. You probably will double it in less than 5 years. You can see that fire. When you're talking about your company, you're very passionate about it. It's mean the world to you. So meaning that you will work as hard as possible to make sure it succeeds.
I do, but I also believe in working smarter, not harder. So I do have I do have a new little baby, and I want to spend time with him. We're hoping to have another one at some point. I'm 43, so clock's kind of ticking there. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I want to live a good life and take care of my family and my friends, and then Optima is fairly self-sufficient. Like I don't need to work 60 hours a week. I don't work on the weekends. Yes, I'm on my laptop most nights during the week, but I get to the office around 11 most days. Go to the gym in the morning and take care of my son. Answer calls and emails over my phone, but I don't have to work too. I don't want to call it. Try to work too hard. I work just about the right amount of time for me, and I spend a good amount of time doing the things I love.
Exactly. Life is too short. We have to enjoy life as well.
Right.
So now, what advice would you have for women who are trying to start their own business, and what are the key qualities you think that they should have to succeed with their business?
Well, I do think it's important to write up a business plan, a strategic plan, to know what your goals are, to know where you're going to get the funding and the capital. Put together a cash flow forecast. How much cash do I have right now? How much can I invest in the business? How much do I need to know to live? Believe in yourself. Be strong. Be resilient. And if people try to knock you down, just keep fighting and keep pushing. And believe in yourself and what you're able to accomplish.
And I know that you mentioned earlier, before we actually start recording, that you made it in Inc. list. Can you tell us more about that?
And I'm sorry, and what? The Inc.?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just an Inc. annual list in the nation of fastest growing businesses. So, yeah, we got number 143. I don't know how many people are in the regional one, though. I know that there's an Inc. 5000 and there's an Inc. 500. So I don't know what number we placed on those two lists, but I do know that we placed 143 in the region, which I thought was cool.
That is awesome. So which means you are doing fantastic work.
Yeah, we actually won the 10th fastest growing company in San Diego County last year in the small business category. I believe that's under 10 million. So we were just skating by under 10 million last year. And then, we as a firm keep winning best place to work, which is very exciting for me.
Yes.
Creating a best place to work environment is mission critical in my view. Happy staff, happy clients.
Yes. And what I like the fact that is the flexibility, because you have women out there that have children, especially when COVID hit, kids were at home. They had no choice to be a mom 24 hours, 7 days a week, but also they still need to feed these children. They need to pay the bills. So they still need a job. I think that what you are doing with your company is very helpful to them, especially to mothers.
I'd like to think so.
Well, I thank you so much, Jennifer, for giving me the chance to have a conversation with you and to learn more about Optima Office and all the great work you are doing and also supporting women. And that's something that we as women, we need to do more often so that we can break that, all these things that we've been facing as women when we hit the business world.
I agree with you, and I'm happy to help. Send me an email if I can be of assistance to anyone. And if any small business owners are listening, let us help.
Exactly. So we need to help one another.
Right.
Thank you for listening to Female Founders Podcast. That's it for this week's episode. Be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app or connect with us on womel.com so that you don't miss our next episode. See you next time. Bye for now.